Hello. Good morning, everybody watching. This is our Candid Combos. We go live every Wednesday. And today we are talking about comparison. So, Misty, I'm going to let you open this up because a conversation that we were talking about just right before we went live, I loved what you had to say. So, I will let you open us and just kind of what you've been working on personally for yourself.
Yeah. So I think that one of the things that I see in myself and I see in all of us as women, I think it's just something that we as women tend to deal with more than, well, I think it's just a human nature thing, but comparison is just something that I know personally for me has been something I've had to be very aware of because it's so easy to fall into that sneaky trap. And when I was younger, as a young mom, I kind of had this like comparison was this, like it would sneak its way in. I'd be like, well, I'm just looking and learning from other women to see what they do because I want to learn and become better, which is great. There's that great, like being teachable and being able to learn. I think that's wonderful. And we can do that in our role as parents and as business owners, and always being that learning and teachable heart is great until it gets to the point of they've got it figured out and I don't.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've kind of noticed this in over the years, but more so in the last several years as I've just become more aware of my thoughts and what's going on underneath the surface. It's just this general sense of, wow, they've got it figured out. I must be doing something wrong. And so it's been really fascinating to just watch my brain and how it comes up. And like even this morning, I went on a walk with a friend and she was talking about things and it was like, oh, wow, wouldn't it be nice to have that? Like from the standpoint of she's got it figured out and I don't. And I caught myself and I was like, wait a minute. What if nothing is missing? And that's something that I've really been practicing, like consciously practicing the last couple of days, really over the last couple of weeks, but the last couple of days, like, now, wait a minute, like, what if nothing is missing? And when I really sink into that, I've had a couple of moments this last couple of days where in my relationship, nothing is missing. I like in this moment, nothing is missing. And it's such an amazing, abundant feeling. And it's something that I feel like is a great antidote to comparison. So I would love to just have a discussion around that. Like, where does comparison kind of wiggle its way in for you? And how does noticing or paying attention to nothing is missing maybe possibly help that comparison?
Yeah. Ooh, this is such a good conversation because I feel like we all, no matter whether we're stay-at-home moms or we're business owners, or like this comparison shows up in all sorts of areas of life. And I know for me, the same when my kids were younger. I just was like, I just want to be like a mouse in the corner of somebody's house and see like, how do they do it? Do they struggle with these same things? Because I feel like something's wrong and I'm not doing this right. And that comparison of like changing what you do or how you do it to try and be the same as somebody else. And for me, like when my kids were younger, I've talked about this before, but it was like the good moms had the kids that were put together, their hair was done, their clothes were cute. It was like, and that's like what my perception of a good mom was. And so I took that on, that's what I had to do. And it was not a joyful person. I was not a nice person to kids because it was about the appearance and perfection to try and keep up with these like standards of other people, right? And then in business, where I've seen this show up for me, especially is like if I have something that I want to do, let's just say it's a workshop or speaking or it's a course that I'm putting out, and I see somebody else that like does it and it like works super fast for them and it's like filled, that like for me it starts to creep in of like this almost this resentment that I've started to notice of I'm working just as hard. Like, why isn't this working for me? And that frustration and almost noticing like a resentment toward the other person. And so I started to become aware of this and like celebrating, like, and just like praying, like, God, I pray that you'll just like bless that person and, and whatever they're doing, and changing that mindset and that shift of I don't have to be resentful of them. Being resentful of them is actually going to keep me stuck. It's not going to do anything for me. It's not going to fill my workshops or my retreats or whatever it is. And so why don't I just celebrate them? And celebrating them, that like feels so much more amazing. And recognizing like, yeah, like they have a different path. It's, they've done stuff in the past that has led to this point. And and so I think that's for me, like it's shown up in resentment, and I've turned it into like, how can I instead like celebrate this person and what they're doing, and even offer like help or support or sharing about what they're doing, instead of trying to hold it like, oh, it's going to take away from me, because that's just a lie. It's not true. That's what our brains want us to believe, but that's not truth. And so yeah, I think this is it's such a big topic. It's such a broad topic, but really that like self-awareness and paying attention, Misty, just like you said, of starting to notice like when those thoughts creep in, like you don't have to own that thought. You get to take hold of that and you get to change it into something different. And I was actually listening, I was trying to remember what it was. It was a podcast. I cannot remember who it was, but they were talking about how they saw Halle Berry on Oprah, uh, like many years ago. And she had made a comment like, oh, well, I'm not doing this for the money. And he was like, oh yeah, you're not, like, you're getting, $18 million. And so he started to recognize like, wait a minute, like this isn't a good thought for me. And so he was like, I just started celebrating, like, yeah, you go girl. And so it's, it's things like that we don't even often realize what we're thinking or where that's coming from until we start to really like pay attention to it and decide that like that doesn't have to be who I am or what I think, and I get to change that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that conscious awareness. And I think, like, for me, like I said, over time, it was like, it was so sneaky, it was hard to recognize it. Um, but I think what always leads me into the thoughts before I'm even consciously aware of the thoughts is the constriction in my body. It's always that, oh, that feeling of like, oh, that's for her, not me. And just being able to recognize and be aware of those feelings, and those that even sometimes it's not even a really strong feeling of, not like, we're on a walk, we're having a great conversation. It's not like it's this like massive feeling of guilt and shame that's like pouring down on me. It was just a little like bloop in my heart. But I think being aware of that sensation in my body, just that constriction, was like, okay, there's something going on here. What's creating this feeling in me of just like, oh, wow, that's nice for her. you know and that's just kind of working backward from there. It was the what I teach all the time, that your pain is an opportunity to pay attention inside now, PAIN. And so from there I was able to recognize, oh, there is this thought that she can have it and I can't because I'm doing something wrong. It's just a pattern. Just fascinating, that whole idea of just choosing the thoughts that you want. My friend, actually, on the same walk, we were talking about how our subconscious and our subconscious thoughts are like an elephant, and they're just big and bulky, and there's just so much that go into them. But we get to be the elephant trainer. That the conscious mind, we get to choose how to tame and train the subconscious, the elephant. And I believe, and I know you do too, that we have help in doing that, that it's not all just up to us and saying, I have to change my mind through willpower, but that we have access to strength and help beyond our own in doing that. So,
Yeah. So good. And I think one of the things that comes into mind, so tomorrow is our second aligned gathering. Tomorrow Thursday, right? The 27th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Harmony Woods Retreat Center. And one of the things that I'm going to walk the ladies through is getting in alignment with your values and getting really clear on your values, because the comparison, I think, comes when we are not clear. Sometimes I can like sneak in, but if you're not clear on your values and you're not in alignment with that, it's even bigger, right? And then it becomes this like huge mountain that you feel like you can't tame. And for me, like, especially when my kids were younger, it's because I was comparing myself to other people. I was looking at what are they doing? They have it all together, so I have to do it that way. When really that wasn't in alignment with who I was or what I valued. And so I love that that just kind of like brings all of that together. And even though like I'm in alignment with my values, it doesn't mean I don't still have that comparison, but like that's the foundation of everything, whether it's, in your business, whether it's in your life, no matter what decisions you're making, if you're not super clear about the things that are really important to you and what priorities are to you. And like for me, I'm like, one of my priorities and one of my values is celebrating other people and their success, no matter what, no matter what my success looks like, whether it's greater or less. And so because of that, then I can become aware of when those, sneaky little thoughts come in and like, wait a minute, this is in alignment with who I want to be or how I want to show up in the world. So, Misty, I know you will not be able to join us tomorrow, so we will miss you dearly. Misty is actually going to run a retreat in Las Vegas.
Yep.
So amazing. I wish I was going with you.
I wish you were too. That'd be awesome.
I actually just saw our first retreat that we did a couple years ago. I think it was in 2022 or 2021. I don't even know now. But that popped up and like all those memories came flooding back. And I was like, oh gosh, I miss it so much. I'm sad that we're not it would be like right now, it would be this weekend coming up, would be at Clearwater Lodge doing a retreat. So all good. We have other good stuff coming down the pipeline that we're excited about, but we will miss you tomorrow, Misty. And Harmony Woods Retreat Center, just huge shout out to Harmony Woods for being our event space sponsor. Beautiful.
It's a beautiful venue. I'll take over. It looks like Cherie's camera died. It's a beautiful venue. Check out the Facebook page. I think Cherie is also going to post an event on Facebook. So check that out. And we hope to see you all there. And I am going to, I think Cherie has to end the live. So I'm going to end it. See you all later.